What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I have been a busy boy. It's been a few weeks since my last video, but I've been keeping myself really busy between work and obviously the projects. I have some new additions. It's all go. There's still no update on the house. I'm not even going to bother talking about that because it just gets myself and my wife down. I think that's just going to continue on for next year. But this one we will do of the BriVan. Now, the good thing is I did some filming a couple of weeks ago, doing a lot of work on this. I've actually stripped all the electrics out of Brian's van. So that is sitting there now with no electrics. Everything's out at looms, fuse boxes, yada, yada, yada. So I found out obviously the fuse box was knackered, we've got breaks in the loom. I mean, it's just an absolute cluster mess. You thought I was going to say something else. But yeah. So I've stripped that out so I know where everything is, because obviously I know something in there is damaged. I know that this new donor van that we have bought from Birmingham is correct. So I'm going to strip everything out of this. I've started labelling everything where everything goes, so it's a bit easier for me coming back and putting everything back in, but it's actually not that bad. See, especially once you get the dash out and the silly wee clips and whatnot, and let everything up and mark where everything goes, I think it'll be pretty straightforward. The main thing I know is that this van here actually runs and drives. It has got obviously a head gasket issue, but I'm not caring. It starts, runs, drives, electrics working it, yada, 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 as I've shown you in the videos. So my next stage is to take everything out of here and put it into there, except the engine obviously. And then that will get the basics done into the actual the van, which is give me a big start and getting everything tidied up and finished. And obviously the original dash that's in that one isn't going in the BriVan. We have got a brand new flocked one upstairs with everything everything in the lower area to get done. I will need to make up custom headlinings to match it, because obviously we haven't got one in this one, but we do have one in that one. So I'll get it to Anthony, we'll get it retrimmed so everything's nice and dark, and just complete the front, I think, first. Get it up and running, MOT'd, and then I can start modifying, sound systems, bodywork, brakes, wheels, everything that will make it, give it its finishing touches effectively. That's the whole plan on it. I will show you, obviously, what I've taken out of the van. It was a hell of a lot of electrics. I mean, there was tons. I've got a box at the back. I'm not going to show you it, but it's just a bunch of cables. I'll show you inside. I found some welding that needs done. Now, I wasn't expecting to be doing any welding. I thought all the welding had been done in the van, but I've found a big hole, but yay size, on the passenger side, and I've found a split in the sill on the driver's side that needs attention as well. So something that I didn't think I'd have to do, we have to get done. But I've got a good friend, and a friend of Brian's as well, actually, little Mick, who is going to come and weld it up for me, because I'm not a welder. I'm quite sure you can show me what to do and I'll learn, but I'm not going to set fire to this in this unit, because it doesn't move from here. So if it does go on fire, that goes up and the GLS goes up, and I don't really want that. Plus, I've got my dartboard and stuff upstairs, so the last thing I want to do is set fire to that. But come on, I'll show you exactly what we're playing with on the inside here. Not a massive update other than the fact it's stripped. Next update should be the end of this week, where I've taken out everything into this, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll turn the key and that will start straight off the key now, rather than obviously having to have that, the cable that went for the battery down to the glow plugs, and it was just a mess. I mean, the stuff I found in it has been ridiculous. So I'll show you what we've got to get done, and this will be one of the quickest videos I've probably done. I'll show you. So as you can see, I'll get a wee bit of light onto it. I have stripped out all the electrics from here. This was the windscreen wiper motor sat here. Cables came along and down, and this is just an earth cable that can stay. It works fine. And this, there's my Stanley knife. This is where the battery would sit, and obviously a loom comes in the back, sweeps down into each one of these pockets and down over inside the arches. You can see I've taken the arch liners completely out. They are gone. That lets me get into all the cables that run along, obviously slam panels and behind radiators and all sorts of nonsense. So the biggest problem I've got is, now I'll show you, is this little part here. Now, if I can get my, I'll just shine my torch. Now this bit here is part of obviously the idle control. I think it's on this side. I'll be honest, some mechanics will probably correct me, but as you can see, obviously we're missing, the cables come off of this, but it did have an attachment onto here. That sounds good, the easy fix you would think. But if you come over and look at it on this van, where is it? Yep, it's under this shroud. Now that is a metal shroud, it's not plastic, it's complete cast. And it looks like it's a ball ache to get into, I'm not gonna lie. That's causing me concern because obviously I stripped out everything and this is the only thing I can't seem to get into. So I think I might have to actually just cut this plug, cut this lead here, it's only one single plug, and then put a new fitting on it rather than try and take this all out, because one, I don't have a clue what I'm doing, and two, I don't want to damage anything by trying to get down and into there. Now you may think, oh well, maybe it's a different van, because the other one, next Brian's van doesn't have that, but it actually did. On here you can see the cast, and it comes down right into the very bottom here. I'll just try and shine in to here. Now you can see these two marker points at the bottom here, the two of these studs. They come in, they're quite tight against obviously all the lines and stuff. And bear in mind, I'm not a mechanic. But if we move across to here, I'll shine the torch in again. Can you see that? When you see that someone has done the right thing, and easiest thing, and they've actually cut here with a grinder. I'll try and see if the camera will zoom in. That's a clever one. So that's to get easy access to this. Now that's a great idea, for helping me out in this one, especially for reconnection, which I'm glad it's on this one, but it doesn't exactly help me on another one because I need to get into that. So I think it'll just be a matter of doing exactly what's happened here, snip this cable and then put a new fitting on to this here. It was only on my 10mm nut. I'll just put a ring fixing on it and fit it in. And so that's the only thing that's causing me concern in here, which is good. I mean, that's a good start. Everything else has came apart, no problem. I do have the heater matrices to fix, which is in here, right in the bottom. You can see the two hoses just coming into the bulkhead. Now there you go. Obviously I've got a dashboard, so it should be an easy enough change. I've got a new blower motor, but we just might as well change it while we're in. So it will be tickety-boo once we're all done. As you've noticed, this engine, right, we bought this one thinking, obviously, this is Brian's van. It is a turbo diesel. The turbo's here, the intercooler's here, turbo sits at the back, kind of idea, right? But if you look in this one, there's no intercooler. It's not been taken off, it's completely different, but it is a turbo. It's just a completely different setup. Now, I didn't know this existed, I've got to be honest, because even in the Haynes manuals, none of them show having an intercooler. So, I mean, it's not a big deal, so that's the only difference I see in it. Now, that is purely, it's not mechanical, obviously we know this isn't a mechanical part, the intercooler. So I think through time, I'll probably get a custom pipework made up that will take this from a top mount intercooler and we'll put it in the front and we'll have a big intercooler on this because we've got the Cosy front end that's going to be going on to it. So it'd be nice to have a nice big intercooler hanging off the front of it. Well, I think it would anyway. I've jacked this up like an absolute idiot, and because I work here myself, I can't get the bloody wheels off because they're too tight. I forgot to loosen them before I took them off, so I need someone to come in and stand on the brakes with me. Nobody's perfect. Yeah. As you can see, I'll keep the light shining. I have stripped everything out in here. I mean, it's literally sitting like a shell. If you look down in here, I'll just switch the camera over, sorry. Hopefully it'll go a bit dark. Now, the bit I spotted here, if you look in here, and then we go, ooh. So there's a hole in the sill, and it's not been welded, so I need to fix that. That's an absolute joke in there. So, and then if I move, excuse me, I'm not as wee as I used to be, on this part here, I'll just put the light down. I've got this hidden. I mean, I've got to try and piece in a bit of flooring here to cover this. Oh God, man, and this bit. It's not pretty. it's weird because all the welding's been done nice all the way up. You can see where the new bits come in. He's cut it, and you know, I don't even know if this is there's obviously a couple of bits here that's been welded across to here. This was already chipped away, so it was exposed, and the only reason I spotted it the other day there was the shroud, the sounding that sits up here had fell, and if you lift it up, this is what we found now. Obviously, I think it's straight into the chassis leg. I mean, I can't leave it like that. I don't think it's an MOT fail, but we're not doing everything to help it sitting rough like that. But as you can see, I've been to town on it. I've checked everything else, and everything seems fine. Everything else will be dead easy to change in it. But you can see the welding work. We'll buff all this down as well, and we'll get it all coated and protected before we put any carpets and whatnot back in. We'll get the steering wheel off, put a new one on it, and we'll get obviously rid of the airbag system and everything on it. We'll just get that out, maybe put a snap off on it. I've also got electric mirrors, electric windows to fit into this as well. They're already there, but I haven't stripped them out yet. As you can see, the loom, I've checked the loom at the back, and it seems to be fine. So I've just disconnected it to here, but I'll probably will end up changing it down the line, but I was dealing with the front first, so I can just do an easy connection, and if that works, then I don't need to worry about, you know, changing it all, and I've got a spare loom. If not, I know that the van next to us has got one to use, you know. So I'll try and I need like a contortionist to get out in this van without. So that is the quick update on the BriVan. We are stripped up on axle stands and ready just to put the rewire in it once I take it out of this donor van that the camera's sitting on. Hopefully it shouldn't be too long in doing it all. I'll film wee bits and bobs. I did film it all before when I stripped out of this one, and I bought this new camera thinking, you know, I'll have it nice and HD and a bit easier to use than my phone. And I used the wrong lead, and that didn't record a single bit of sound. So I had like 4 or 5 hours of content, and it was just me like a bloody mute. I mean, I was raging because even I've been interested to see some of the stuff I've done in here. So I think what I will do, I will try and record me doing it on here, and then you can see exactly the troubles and the wee bits and bobs that go along. So that's all for this one. Join me hopefully soon on the next one. Until then, you know the score. Take it easy.